So today I'm going to be talking about a variety of chargers if you're planning on getting into the hobby, what to consider in chargers. Now, out of these, I do have some preferred chargers that I have. So I have an Easy Peak here. This is the Easy Peak Plus, Easy Peak Live Duo, this Ultra Power charger, which, to be honest, you can find some other chargers, different brands that look very, very similar. They're probably made in the same factory, wouldn't be surprised. This is my old Hitec charger. There's a newer variant that came out. I've had this for over 3 years. I don't remember how long ago. Maybe it's been longer. Nope, it's been longer than that. Much longer than that. This thing's old. But this has been a very good charger. And then I have the Hota right over here, which is a charger that I'm going to be talking about. This is a charger that I really, really like. This is a charger that I really, really like. Now, these three of these chargers are mine. So the Hitec, this one, and the Hota are right here. These are my nephews because I keep giving away my stuff. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, they are my nephews. I gave it to them, but this is before I upgraded, and this one brand new just to get one of them to the hobby. So each one of them has a charger. Now for this one and the Hitec, if you know how to operate one, it'll be very easy to learn how to operate the other. But let's begin. So what to look for? It's all going to depend really on a variety of things. How often are you going to be using this? What type of batteries are you planning on using? So let's just say you use it once in a while, or maybe it's for a young kid. Say that kid is 7 years old, 8 years old, 9, 10. You want something very, very easy. I would probably steer you to Easy Peak. And the reason why is there's no menu like on this one. Even though the menu is very intuitive on these chargers, it truly is intuitive. I can't describe it another way. Somebody might forget what to use for what batteries. That's the reason why. So this is a NIM battery, nickel metal hydrate, and we have a lithium battery. So I'm going to talk about some of the features. If you want something just simple, really simple, Traxxas batteries, Traxxas charger. Yes, you are paying a premium for the batteries. For example, this one here, I believe I paid close to $60. So this is my nephew's battery. Versus something like this, I paid maybe $50. Actually, it was probably less because of the sale. Gens Ace does allow for coupons. Traxxas does not. And if you look at the capacity, this is 4,200. This is 4,000. So very similar in capacity, although voltage, this one runs at a higher voltage, 8.4. I could be wrong. I would have to check. Yep, 8.4. So this one's going to be a lower voltage. Keep that in mind. Now, once it's fully charged, it does say, 8.4 and then it drops. You can actually charge these to 8.6 and then it drops. Wait, I could be wrong. Is it 8.6? I don't remember. I usually just run the regular LiPo charge. I usually don't run them on the HV. But moving on. The reason why I say consider Traxxas. I'm not going to tell you to buy Traxxas, but consider these it's just plug and play. It's so easy. If you get something like this charger was about $50. That one was probably about $40. So $10 difference. And yes, this was about $60. You can probably get an Eco Power for about $35, $40. So you are paying, say, $20 more for the Traxxas battery. But again, if you want something safe for somebody young, doesn't have to be young, maybe you don't use it, you just plug the battery in because that's the Traxxas ID, right? So it identifies the battery right away. So this is the intelligent battery. I'm actually not sure what ID stands for, but notice it identified it as a NIM battery and then it has the charge rate. Now, if you were to plug in a LiPo battery, that's a Traxxas battery, it would go into LiPo and then you could hit the button and then select the charge rate right here. But it would also flash one of these lights and then you would use this to decide if you're going to balance, fast charge, or store. I would say always balance the battery and then store when you're not going to use it. The higher the amps, the faster it's going to do everything. but the charger automatically, even though you set it at 4 amps, might go down to 3, 2, 1 if you're balancing. So keep that in mind. It's not going to operate at 4 amps all the time. And then just to get started, so notice the only thing that I have done is the following. Plug the battery in, identifies it, you press and hold. Green light goes on, you let go, and that's it. You're done. And then once it's finished, it's finished. And if a kid comes along and pops it out, no big deal. So this is why I would probably steer you toward Traxxas. It's just simple. And if you bought a vehicle, and you can use these, it doesn't have to be a Traxxas vehicle, but you will need a Traxxas connector. So you're going to need something to adapt it to a Deans. Now I have made my own Traxxas 2 Deans because I used to run a Traxxas connector in a Euro truck. So keep that in mind. It's not that difficult to make them, but you can also buy them. I mean, if you have the parts, you can just solder up some stuff. Keep that in mind. And well, just for kicks, this is one that I made. That's what it looks like, right? Well, that's it. So not a big deal. Now, why would you consider this one? Now, this one, when I bought this one, this was $170, which I think is the current price. This one here, you can download the app and then you can use the app to actually look at all of the stats regarding your battery, which is really, really cool. But yes, it is $170. Now, for a beginner, would I recommend something like this? Not really, unless you are, say, older and you can afford it. So something like this for a 7-year-old, probably not. This will probably be good enough. But then again, if you want the features and you're buying a, I don't know, X-Max or something, then this would be the charger to go with, because this does charge a lot faster. So the charging capabilities of this are a lot faster. And in that app, you can actually do all the adjustments, which is cool. I'm not going to go over the app now. Maybe I'll do another video on how to use this one. This might sound silly to some of you, but one of my favorite Traxxas vehicles, I love the Hitec. If you've watched some of my videos, you know that the Hitec 2.0 for me is one of the best RTRs that exist. But another one is this one, a pre-runner. And if you've seen some of my incredibly old videos, you saw how I super tuned one, put a crazy insane Castle motor in one, made it go way, way too fast. But the point is, these are very, very easy because the batteries will just plug in to here, and I'm looking for the connector. There it is. They just plug into there and it conditions the battery, which is really nice. So with the NIM batteries, now this is a much smaller NIM, what will happen is after a while, so you forget about them and you don't use them, they won't hold a charge very well. So they'll charge, say, for 10-15 minutes, and then they'll run for maybe 2. And then you charge them again, and what you'll notice is they'll charge for a little longer, and they'll hold charge a lot longer. And then the third time, fourth time, a lot longer. And then it's almost back to condition when it was new. Beautiful thing about these chargers, so that would be the case with this charger if I did that. But with this charger, this thing just conditions the battery right away. That's the reason why, because those pre-runners can sit on my shelf for, a few months, and then I'll run them hard for, a few packs or days. And then this thing just conditions everything. So that's the reason why I would probably recommend something like this: dual charger, 2 batteries. And if you're running 2S, 3S, 4S packs from Traxxas, so easy, and it doesn't matter which ones you run. So if you look at this, right, you're just going to plug them in, and the tab goes to the bottom. See, it detects NIM. There it is. And then you have a variety of different options. So max charge, will charge it as fast as possible. It just depends on where you want to charge. Again, press and hold. It beeps at you and it'll start charging. But that's it. So anyway, again, just like this one, if this were a LiPo, it would have detected LiPo, which is the light just above. You select the light, and then you would select the rate. Most of you will probably do the highest, and then if you accidentally unplug it, no big deal. That's all that happens. But again, this is about $170, so it's going to depend on you. I'm not really here to tell you if it's worth it or not, because obviously I thought it was worth it, and I still think it was worth getting this charger. That's the reason why. It's just a very nice, really easy to use if you're using Traxxas batteries. So my nephews, I mean, I've given them a variety of different batteries. Traxxas batteries are the way to go for these kids. Again, they're young. The eldest is 10, and they've had their slashes for I think there were 3 and 4 when I gave them a Traxxas slash each. So anyway, that aside, so that's why one of them uses this, the other one uses this. I've tried them, and to be honest, I should have given them both the Easy Peak. It would have been a lot easier, because originally I thought, all right, you know, just easy eco power batteries and this thing. They keep ruining them, so I got tired, and I just switched them to, so now they're just running Traxxas batteries. But anyway, so we'll put these aside, and I'll talk a little more about the other chargers. So I'm going to disconnect these. All right, so I have the other 3 here now that I've talked about the Traxxas chargers. Now really quick, the Traxxas chargers, you can also charge non-Traxxas batteries. If you're charging LiPo batteries, the balance ports are right here. So there's this little plastic tab that's somewhat of a pain to remove, and I actually like the fact that it's somewhat of a pain to remove because you don't lose it as easily. But here you have your 2S balance port, 3S balance port. Actually, it could be wrong. Yeah, 2S, 3S. If you grab the other charger, you'll have the larger balance port there as well. So the way it goes is it does not take one of these balance boards. What you would have to do is, and I believe Traxxas sells them, I generally make my own, use these. So those are the ones, they just go in there, and you would just plug it in there, plug the battery in here, and then LiPo will be detected, and then you you select the amperage. The downside of this one is it doesn't really give you charge time or anything else, or what it's charging. The advantage of this one with the Bluetooth capabilities is you can check some of that stuff out using the app, which is why this one's really nice if you want something simple. But let's go on over to these other ones. I'll put those things later on, and that's how you lose stuff. You don't put them on right away. So these are some of the other chargers that you can use. Now, this charger, when new, I don't remember how much I paid for this, $35, $40, I have no idea, say $40. I mean, we could even pretend it was 50. This one was $99.99. This was 100 US. The current model, I believe, is about 140, so the one that replaced this. This Hota, when I bought this Hota, I actually bought this one off AliExpress. Now, really quick, I'm not recommending that you purchase from AliExpress. I'm not dissuading you either. I purchased from AliExpress, and I have had good experiences, but keep in mind, it's sort of like an eBay. So, you know, be careful what you buy, vendor you buy them from, etc. Although I would say my experience so far, AliExpress, everything that I've purchased from there, customer experience has been quite good. This one I paid about 100, maybe 110, and this is really an amazing charger. So if you're thinking of getting into the RC hobby and being, say, a little more competitive, a little more serious, a little racing, you may want to consider something like this, actually. But let's just say you want something that works, that's reliable. This charger has been reliable for 20 billion years. I don't remember. I was thinking 3, but now that I think in my head, it's probably 4. Maybe I've had it a little longer. I don't remember. So this charger is actually somewhat old. But some of the advantages, for example, I was charging the NIMS using this one because my nephews have the 2 separate chargers, so I figured I'd just plug one in. And I do have Traxxas connectors here. So this can charge your NIM batteries. You just need the correct end here to plug in the battery. So when I use these, I generally use the bullet connectors. So notice I have this adapter. There's a lot of wiring. Then I just connect these. And because my nephews run Traxxas batteries, because that's what I told them they have to use, then I can use the same plug, just disconnect. But to be honest, I decided to just buy them their own cables, considering they keep breaking the banana connectors. Actually, it's just one nephew that breaks stuff. The other nephew, I don't know. But yeah, one of my nephews, everything he touches turns to gold or breaks. So far, nothing's turned to gold. It just breaks. But moving on to this, here, the menu, you have to go through the menu selection. The Traxxas will charge non-Traxxas batteries, but I would say just stick to Traxxas. If you're using these, you can use whatever you want. So if it's NIM batteries and you have a Traxxas battery, you would just plug in the battery and you can charge it. So just go here. And then, well, I guess I can go back in the program. Well, I already have a video on how to use these. But if you're there NIM, it's going to charge at 5 amps. So that's the current. And then you would just press and hold. And then it starts charging. Now I don't want to actually charge. And just keep hitting the stop to go back, or you keep hitting the start, enter to go forward on the menus. But I will go ahead and disconnect this. The nice thing about these chargers, compared to the really basic one, even this one right over here, is, let's just say I go into LiPo mode. So right now it's NIM, but I will go into LiPo. And let me just go, here we go, LiPo. And notice how it can even charge these. So it charges the LiPo HVs. That's really cool. But let's go to regular LiPo. So you would set LiPo, go here, and then you can select the amp rate that you want. So the Traxxas charger, the small one goes up to 4 amps. The large one actually goes up quite high. I think it goes up to 13 amps or something. I don't remember at this time. But this one I think goes up to 6. This one goes up to 10. Oh no, it goes farther up. 9, 10. So this one can actually go up to 10 amps. And this one I believe can go up to 10 amps. So what is the charge rate? The charge rate is just how far you're putting charge into the battery. That's really all it is. Now, do you want to charge your batteries all the time at 10 amps? Maybe, maybe not. So the faster you charge the batteries, the faster they'll degrade. But if you're out there racing, you want that faster charge, you can do it on this. And that's something you would do on something like this. This is a pack for an F1. I do have the larger packs too. So that is something to keep in mind. So you can charge at 10 amps. This one, let's go look for LiPo. Oh, notice does the HV as well. The HV, this one charges at a higher voltage. So something like this, if I charge regular LiPo, it'll charge at, so regular LiPos are rated at 7.4 volts, HV is 7.6. But if you charge at regular rate, regular voltage, peak will be 8.4 for regular LiPo. It'll be higher if you do the HV. But let's go to LiPo. So we go LiPo, and that one's already set to 10 because this one I had set at the max. So both of these can charge at 10. So that's something to consider. The Traxxas, the regular Easy Peak, is about the same price as this one, but it only charges up to 4 amps. This one can charge up to 10 amps. And to be honest, the other one usually doesn't charge for 4 amps the entire time. It generally drops to, 2.5 probably. And then once it's getting closer, because it's balancing, it'll drop to 1 or below 1. But you cannot see that. You don't know. And sometimes it'll take a long time to balance. And if your batteries are older, it'll take much longer to balance, especially if you run them hard or you always run them kind of low, which you should not do with a LiPo. It'll take longer to finish balancing, so you could be waiting for the battery for an extra 30 minutes that you didn't have to. You probably could have just turned it off and taken your battery because your battery's been stuck at 8.39 volts instead of 8.40 because the charger's trying to put that extra juice. And if you could actually measure it, it would say 0.0 volts charge rate, which is nothing as far as we're concerned. So that's something to consider versus here, if you're actually charging a battery, you would be able to view that. And if I do it with this one really quick, just for kicks and giggles. Now here, you're gonna need to make sure that that center wire is connected. So it is more stuff to wire up, but I'm going to decrease the charge rate because there's no need for me to charge fast. I'm just doing a demo. 2S, and then you press again, and oh, storage. I put storage. Sorry about that. So this is good to store. Let's change the top to balance. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. So there's your voltage. Charge rate's going to go up in a bit. That's where your battery is. So you can see everything in the menu, or at least some of the good stuff. There's the percentage, there's the current voltage. Now, if I turn it off now, I can still store it. If you go back here, you can see some of the other features, cut off, whatever you set it up. So after 120 minutes, it'll automatically shut off. The capacity you can change. Actually, because it's bouncing, it doesn't matter. But notice it gives you the timer, everything else. And I will, so right now it's charging at 2.5, which is 2.5 what I left it. But once it gets closer to the end, it'll drop. And this one will do the same thing. So both of these will do the same thing. So that's one of the reasons why you may go toward a different charger rather than the Traxxas charger. Again, it all depends. I think the Traxxas chargers are amazing chargers for simplicity. If you're giving them to a kid or somebody that's brand new, maybe, you know, once a year takes out the RCs, I'll just stick to Traxxas. But here we go. Now with these, you can replace the boards. So these boards right here, you would use a board. Now I don't care about this wire because I don't run 6S packs. But you can do a variety of different packs. So 2S, 4S. Now this is just the board. Let's see what the charger actually does. So we'll go here. Oops. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. I just want to see. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So it goes up to 6S. So it can go 1S to 6S. Let me look at this one just for kicks and giggles. And this one can go, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Goes up to 6S, but it does not do 1S. So keep that in mind. This does 2 to 6, this does 1 to 6. So if you're running a 1S class, potentially, this is the charger that you would want to get, not this one, because this one would not work. So that would also keep you away from the Traxxas chargers possibly, just because you can't meter everything. This wire I'm not worried about it because this wire is actually for these bottom balance ports, so I don't actually need it. That's why I keep running it like this. It doesn't matter. It's actually using the first couple wires. If I were to remove this plastic, you would see the actual wires, how the ones are together, and then you get the extras that are connected. But yeah, that's it for this one. Now, this Hota charger. For me, this Hota charger has been amazing, and I want to emphasize for me. Now, one of the things to keep in mind, so notice this right over here. You're not going to use this guy. I mean, you could if you eliminate the tabs, probably. I never tried and I never cared because I'm usually doing, oops, I accidentally pushed the button. You're generally going to just, if you're racing, you're generally going to run a particular class that has a limitation. For me, it's 2S. So this is a wire that I made, very simple. There's my balance connector. Here I have my XT60 connector, which is what this uses. So keep that in mind. This one uses XT60 connectors. It does not use the banana connectors that this one uses. And then I just have 5mm bullets and then my balance connector for the battery. And this will just plug in to the side. And then you just look at the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So ground is always the first one. So the second one is going to be 1. So you grab this, you set the ground, and that's it. Just plug it in, slide it in there. And that's it for the Hota. And you grab your battery. Now, on this particular charger, if you connect the positive lead first, it's going to beep at you saying something about voltage, like too much voltage or wrong voltage. So you generally want to do the balance port and the negative lead first, then you do the positive lead. But right now it's on standby, so channel, pretty easy. It beeps for everything. Here you can view both batteries at the same time. You just hit channel again, and it'll go to the first channel. If you hit it again, it'll go to the second channel. Once you're there, you have this. And for this one, let's look at the current rating. How high can it go? 15 should be the max. Yeah, 15 is the max. This one can charge all the way up to 15 amps. That's your charging rate, which is pretty good for a beginner. I mean, there are some chargers that can go up to 40 amps. But you're really going to damage your battery after a certain point. If you're really serious about racing, you really want that extra bit of performance, then that's what you would do. You would charge and discharge your batteries as fast as possible. But here, let me just set it back to where it was. Actually, just because of the beeping, I'm not going to. But you can just hit OK. And so let's look at what we can go. So there's 1S. So we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it can go 1 through 6, just like this charger over here. The difference is this one can go up to 15 amps. Now, if you set it to the wrong S, it doesn't matter which charger you use. It'll beep at you and then give you an error warning, and it will not charge because of the balance port. It'll say there's an error with the balance port or connection failed or something along those lines. So keep that in mind. Cell voltage, then you can select LiPo, the types of batteries that you're using right there, and then type of charge. Now, really quick, this charger, even if you set it at charge, it always balances for some reason. So charge, if you set it for charge, it'd be fine. If you go down to balance, it'll be fine. The difference is if you go to charge, it'll charge it quickly and then balance at the end, which is a lot faster. If you go balance, it'll start balancing beginning to end, so it may not charge as fast as the amperage that you selected. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect. So do the positive first. If not, you're going to get an error message, which is fine. It doesn't affect it at all. But here we go. So let's go back. One of the nice things about this one too is this. So you have an out port, and this out port you can control here in the menu. And why would you care for an out port? Oh, very interesting. Oh, I can connect my tire warmers to it. That's the reason why. I just made this wire. This connects to the tire warmers, and I can use the tire warmers. So I cannot do that with the Traxxas chargers. But keep in mind, the Traxxas chargers are not really made for somebody that's racing using tire warmers. The Traxxas chargers are made for somebody who's just enjoying RC, wants simplicity, and just wants to get out there and bash. So that's one of the reasons why you might choose one or the other. And these are the basics when it comes to these chargers. So now that I've given you too much information to think about, which charger should you consider getting? Well, first and foremost, it's going to depend on your budget. This is about $50. That's about $50, maybe 35, 40, somewhere around there. But these are close enough. So between these two, these are, I would say, if they're within $15 or close enough, which one should you get? Well, do you want something that eventually you can use for racing? Get this one. You can charge at a higher rate, and you get more information out of the display. Do you want something that's just plug and play and super easy to do? This is the best way to go if that's what you're looking for. I mean, there's a reason why Traxxas is so popular. It's just easy. I can't really emphasize that enough. Now, if you want a dual charger, Traxxas does make a dual charger. I don't remember the price. I want to say it's about $80 for the dual charger. I could be wrong. Maybe it's $100. Maybe it's twice as much. But they do make a dual charger. That's an easy peak. It doesn't have the bells and whistles. It's just two of these in a big box like this, which is a very good option. Now, if we go, this is from the battery. this here. There we go. All right, now if we're looking at these, well, that was at price point, so depending on budget. So this one is out. Let's forget about that low budget for now. And let's say, better if I just disconnect. All right, let's just say you have a slightly higher budget. All right, well, if your budget is 150 or less, this one's going to be out of the picture because this one's 170. So you're going to be looking at these two. Now, out of these two, there is a newer version of this charger, which is about 140. This one, like I said, AliExpress, when I bought it, it was about 110. Let's say it's gone up to 140. I don't think so. This is going to be a better option. Why? You have the out, so you can connect accessories. That's the reason why. To be honest, this has been one of the best purchases that I have made. I don't know how long I've had this one for. I've had it for over a year. It's been a great charger. This has also been a very, very reliable charger, but at price point, you really cannot beat the Hota, especially for the footprint. I mean, add the price point and then the footprint. I mean, just try to turn it around, place it here. There we go. I mean, it's just nice and simple. But this one is going to require that you do some soldering. That's the downside. This one comes with all the wires. You just have to solder your leads, but it comes with the banana connectors, so you'll get banana connectors. Actually, originally it did come with some other items, but then I think I snipped them. I would have to check. I don't remember, to be honest, because I know I made this part, but it came with something. It comes with the balance boards. This one comes with absolutely nothing. That's something you would have to purchase separately. Once you purchase them separately, if you purchase the ones actually made by Hota, I think the price is about the same. Well, the newer version compared to this. This is something that I made. So I just took some wire and I had these balance connectors right here, which, if I remember correctly, I think I took these from some old batteries that I destroyed. Anyway, but that's it. So all you do is just run, well, the lead that goes to the balance board, just extended that, goes all the way to here, and then the one that goes to the ground just goes in here. That's why I have a short lead. And that is it. So keep that in mind with this one. Assumption is you know how to solder. Well, this one to a degree too. But that's why you would pick one versus the other. So that leads to this. Why on earth would you want this one? Why on earth did I want this one? And why do I love this charger so much? It's just easy. That's why I paid $170 plus tax. $170 for this charger. It is just easy to use. I grab those pre-runner batteries, stick them in here. Those NIM batteries, it just conditions them. They're ready to go. I don't have to worry about grabbing the battery, for example, putting it on a different charger, charging it for 10-15 minutes, and then just running for one, right? This thing will just condition the batteries and they're good to go. That's the reason why. And those, yes, those are the little Traxxas batteries that come in the truck, sorry. So that's the reason why. Is this charger worth it? If you ask some people will say it's like, no, it's too expensive. Just get the Hota. It's a better deal. For me, it's just easy. I don't have to worry about it. That's what I paid for. Just so I can just go out there and have some fun. So again, it's really going to be up to you. The most important thing is the best charger is going to be probably the one that fits your budget, because if it doesn't fit your budget, then it's worthless to you, if you think about it that way. If your budget is up to $200 just for the charger, for example, and you want something really, really easy, and you generally run Traxxas batteries anyway, get the Traxxas charger, this one right here, and then get the app. You can look at all the specs and stats like you would for these chargers, but on the app for the phone. Now, if you're contemplating racing, well, yeah, you're going to have to go with something like this with an out port. So keep that in mind. But if you've got the big giant batteries for the X-Max, for your X-Max, let's see how many times I can say X-Max in the same sentence. This is really a very good charger. And I know a lot of people bash on Traxxas, but I've had very good reliability. To be honest, the only reason why I, in the past, have killed a lot of Traxxas batteries isn't because I don't charge them right or anything. It's because they tend to be soft packs versus the hard packs. And then taking really like hard hits, jumps, etc., eventually they'll damage and they'll start inflating, or they'll balloon a bit. That's the only reason why. But Traxxas batteries, they're reliable, especially these NIMs. The NIMs, this is a newer pack because I'm replacing my nephew's Eco Power. The Eco Powers, they have not lasted as long as the Traxxas batteries. And I know I'm going off topic now, I just realized. But anyway, that aside, the point is, if you're new to the hobby, getting into the hobby, first think of a budget, what your budget is. If your budget is, say, around $50 pre-tax, and you want just something that's plug and play, just get a Traxxas charger. If you want something that gives you a little more information that maybe later on you can go on racing, then get something like this. If you want dual capability, again, plug and play, just get the Traxxas charger. I want to say the dual, the basic one is about $100. Or this used to be $100. Now the newer version's about $140. So it depends. Your budget's $100. Well, do you want to carry two of these, or do you want just one Traxxas charger? So look at budget, and then look at the type of batteries that you're going to be running. For me, this is my top choice if you're going to be doing something more competitive. So I would definitely go with the Hota. I'm not saying that's better than everything. I just like the menu. I like the options that are in it. If I'm just going to be bashing and I don't want to think about it, I just want something to plug, play, and that's it. It works. This is the charger that I would go with. I do love this charger. So these are actually my two picks. Again, it's going to depend on you. As always, set your budget first. Well, this was somewhat long-winded, but I hope I got the information. I do have a video somewhere on how to use the basic functions of this, which would apply to this. I may make a new one at some point. I think I should probably make one for the Hota, and I don't think I give the Traxxas Easy Peak as much love as it deserves, in my opinion. So maybe I'll make a video just talking about the basics of this charger in the future. This being said, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll catch you in the next one.
What? Oh, my hair! My tongue! My rod!